say something is really pretty easy and it's a great song to play on the piano, I'm going to show you the intro block first, but it's very similar to the chorus. So here's the intro block. It sounds like this. So just a D that you play 4 times, and then this. And basically that 4-chord loop that I just played, you play through twice. So here's the second time. And there it is. That's the intro. So basically what you're doing is bouncing on a D there. So you're just going to basically play a D 4 times in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to sort of intersperse the chord sequence and still bounce on those Ds. So you're going to play a B minor first. And you want to think about keeping that D on the top of the... you want it to be like the highest note up for the most part. That's going to make it stand out. So even though we're going to be playing a B minor, which normally looks like this, we're going to transpose it so that this note is down here. And that will allow us to keep this D on the top. So the B minor is like this. You've got an F sharp, a B, and a D. And so you're going to play B minor and then the D. And then the next chord is a G. And all you really need to do to play that is to move this F sharp up to a G and keep these other fingers where they were. So you've got G, B, and D. Intersperse that with another D. Then you're going to play a D chord, but you're going to play that as like this. F sharp, A, and D. So D again. And now you're kind of playing like an A chord, okay? You can play it like this. I play it modified, but I'm going to show it to you this way just so it's not confusing. E, A, and C sharp. And you're going to intersperse with that D again. So the D sort of marks in between each of these chord changes. So that's your intro. I just taught it to you. You play that 4-chord loop twice. So I'll show you the second loop through, and then we'll move on. So you've got a B minor chord, and then the D note to a G. Play the D again. To a D. Play the D again. To an A. And you just play that D again, okay? So that's your intro. The chorus block, which comes right after that, is very similar. It's basically the same thing. It's that B minor with the D in between. It's those 4 chords, the B minor. So you've got B minor. Say something, I'm G, giving up on you. To a D. To an A. I'll be the one if you want me to. Now the only difference is instead of playing it twice through, you're gonna play through it 4 times through. Okay? So I'm gonna let you use your brain and do that. So that's the intro and the chorus block. And now you need to know the verse block. This is the only thing that's really all that different, and it's still not that hard. I, 2, 3 would have followed you down. Okay, so that little section that starts right there is a D, and I like to play it like this: A, D, and F sharp. Now this section is a little bit different. The chords are held for twice as long. So it sort of opens up a little bit. So I don't mind if you play an inversion, if you play a different inversion. It can sort of feels like it's allowed to have a different feel here. Anyway, I'll show you the way I play it. You've got a D, which is an A, a D, and an F sharp. I would have followed you. I don't really know the lyrics. And then you've got an F sharp minor, and I'm adding in this D because it's sort of hanging out anyway, and it has a nice dissonance. So you've got F sharp, A, C sharp, and there's your D. That's your F sharp minor, basically. Think of it like this, with this being coming in every once in a while. You move to a G. I spread it out for some reason here, so you've got G, D, G in your left hand, B, D, and G in your right hand. And you move to a D, and if if you play the G the way I showed you the chord before, it'll probably make sense for you to play the D like this. You play octave Ds in your left hand if you can reach both of them. If you can't, you can just drop one out. You've got an A, a D, and an F sharp in your right hand, okay? And it sort of resolves to an A, and I'm playing it like this because it's a little bit easier. But sometimes I just play with one hand and I just play kind of like an A sus4, or sort of an A version of an A without the 5. So you've got A, C sharp, and you can, if you play it the way I play it, you just add that D, or you can play the E down here. So let me show you that verse all together nice and slow. You've got a D, I, 1, 2, 3, 4, to an F sharp minor, plus this D that I'm adding in here, to a G, to a D, and then to an A. So that D to the A is like a little bit faster than the other chords in that section. But that loop of chords that I just showed you, you play through it twice. So this will be the second time. Back into the chorus. Say something, I'm giving up on you. And you do that 4 times, okay? So the only couple of tricks you need to know, the second time through the verse, that block that I just showed you, instead of looping it twice, you just play through it once. You just play that D to the F sharp minor, to the G, to the D, to the A. You play that just once through, and then you go right back into a chorus block. So that's almost the whole song. The ending is basically a chorus block. The only difference is you play through it twice, you don't play the very last chord, and you slow down at the end. So let me show you what I mean. You've got a B minor, and this is just like the chorus. Say something, I'm giving up on you. That's to the G. And then you go to the D, just like before. I'm not showing you these chords because you probably already know them by now. And then to the A, or however you want to play it. Then you've got, basically you start over again. You get that B minor, say something, I'm giving up on you, and you're slowing down, and then you end on a D. And if you want to make it really sound final, you can sort of shift everything so it's a little bit lower. It has a bit of gravitas on the end. So I'm playing D, A, and D in my left hand. If you can't reach all of that, try and play the lower D. Okay? And you've got an F sharp, an A, and a D in your right hand. And that's all the notes are sort of close together. You're getting a nice full. You can almost hear it like slowly shaking. So that's the whole tutorial. I really hope it helped you. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.